In this video, we're going to be breaking down the number 14. Now, this video is born out of subscriber request. So if you have any requests for certain videos, make sure to leave a comment below. I always check them. So I'm a little bit under the weather, so you have to bear with me. I'm going to be a little bit nasally today, or a little bit stuffed up and congested. So number 14, I have some great personal observations to share about this number, and then we're also going to use the advanced Chaldean mathematical system, or the 9-diamond system, to break down this, some vibrations, and really get a sense of this. So let's jump right in. 14. One of the best examples of the 14 is Donald Trump. 14s are always trying to make deals. They're great hagglers. We're going to explain this as well. And 14s are really good talkers. Not just good talkers, but they know how to hold people's attention, to entrain the people. And so I've had personal experience with this. I met a person one time. I was outside eating some ice cream. It was a hot day. And this person came over to my table, and I didn't know this person at all. They were just walking by. Somehow we struck up a conversation, and it must have been 20-30 minutes had gone by before I had realized, like, what the hell are we talking about? Like, and I found out, of course, as I do, I always ask people their birthdays because I'm always studying. And of course, lo and behold, they're born the 14th. The 14, so what is number 5? Let's start there. 5 is sometimes called the number of the entertainer. Why? Because 5 has a gift for entraining. Entertain is about entraining intention. Now, why does a 5 have this gift? 5 has many gifts. This is one of them. The reason is, to understand this, we have to understand how it fits in the sequence of 1 through 9, which is the sequence of the soul's development and existence. 5's role is to exchange information. They are the honeybees. So after 4, when all the individual components are now structured and crystallized, it's 5's role, which is why it's also associated with communication, which is why it's associated with Mercury and Hermes, the god, the messenger god, because 5's role is to go and now connect all the individual components to create a network, hence why 5 is also associated with networking, to establish a network of communication for the purposes of going to number 6, which is what? To establish a common unity, which is a community, which is a country, which is a society, a collective of some sort. But in order for a common unity to exist, there has to be a communication, there has to be established communication. Now, to make this a really practical analogy and to really explain the entrainment part of it, why this gift is there, imagine if the world is first created and there's all these individual countries. Let's say they're all islands to make it really obvious. None of these islands know about the other. The 5 people in each of these, let's call them tribes, are the ones who will go and jump on a canoe and sail across the ocean and find the other islands. And what they do is, like honeybees, they carry the information of what they have access to, which is their own tribe. They'll go to that tribe, they'll exchange information with them, then they'll carry that ball of energy and they'll go to the next tribe. And like this, they're storytellers, they're ambassadors, they're teachers. They like to share information. That's why 5s are very superficial, is because they're intellectual, because they're not supposed to put down roots ahead of time. Because when they have roots down, which they become overly attached, they become emotionally bonded, then they can't continue their networking, which they are like the pawns of nature to go and exchange information with other people. Now, as part of that, 5 has some gifts. 5s are very lucky in travel. It means they have a lot of protection. There's a story one of my teachers told about how he had this guy. He was a 5, and he had been near-death experiences like 70-something times in his life, including like plane crashes and all stuff. He always found a way to survive because nature protects 5s when they're doing their job, because nature needs 5s to go out into the unknown and to take risks. Now in 14-5, these are calculated risks. We'll talk about that in a minute. But let me first finish this part about 5 and we'll jump back into 14. This is all connected. 5 has also good looks. Look at the number 5. Phi, P-H-I, golden phi ratio. I have a video about this. 5 has symmetry. 5 is the center of 1 through 9. It means they're perfect symmetry. And why this is because when they are approaching people that do not know them and they do not know, it makes their job easier, which is what? To establish a connection, exchange information, and then separate. If they are attractive and good looking, it drops the guard of the people. Now, what else do they need? They need to be good at using their words. 5s are very, very good at learning and applying new languages. 14-5 will also talk about as well. 14 has a specific gift of rhythm of speech. The 4 gives them the ability of timing. So rather than just like la, 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 like this, like a president, like Obama, will have this gift of rhythmic speaking where they know how to use these rhythms, these pauses, and then start talking again to make their speech more effective. This is a gift of the 14. So going back to 5, communication, but ability to be able to entrain the attention of the other person. Because if they can entrain them, they can inject the ideas and they can get information from them. This is the gist. This is a higher function of why 5 is the entertainer. In our modern society, that role is through entertainment, of course, but in the original design, it's for exchanging information. So 14-5 is a very, very good talker, but they like to talk a lot. And this comes because of also the 4 as well as there. 4 is Rahu. Rahu is associated with also a lot of talking as well. When you have the 4 and 5 together like this, it's a number that can just talk. 14-5, in my opinion, I look at them as they are the masters, the potential masters of small talk. They can hold your attention and talk about nothing. This is like this woman I met. She just walked over my table and we just started talking, and then she left after about 20, 30 minutes. But we were really talking about nothing. And I didn't even really I was just involved in the conversation. I'm not really a small talker myself, but they have this gift of being able to hold attention and make the conversation interesting. They're very, very entertaining, the way they talk, the way they tell stories, the way they share the information, their mannerisms. Look at Donald Trump. Love him or hate him, the guy can hold people's attention for long periods of time. He'll go to these rallies and he'll talk in front of people for hours. And people will be there gulping up every word. I'm not against Donald Trump. I'm not exactly always for him. I think he's hilarious, and I think he's excellent at what he does. He's very, very effective communicator. He's really good at branding, and he also is what? He wrote the book, The Art of the Deal. 14 is always trying to what? Initiate structured exchange. Initiate 1, structured 4, 5, exchange. What is that? A deal. Let's put something on paper. Let's put some structure to this exchange so we can make ourselves a deal. That's 14. 14 is all about making deals. They're about communication. They're about branding. 14s have this gift of holding attention even more so than the other 5, because if you look inside of the 14-5 and start looking at the sub vibrations, the outer aura of the physical and the outer aura of the emotional. Let's talk about those. 51-6 is the physical. 66-3 is the emotional. What it means is 14-5, if you reduce it just to a 6, we'll start there, is very charming. 6 is a very attractive energy. 6s are designed to attract people for what? To create a common unity. That could be a family. So 6 of the people in the very extreme are the females who attract the men to get pregnant, because 6 is a number of fertility. That's why they have their lower bodies usually accentuated somehow, because they're attracting mates to impregnate them, because they're designed to procreate. But also 6s are designed to prosper. It's the first number in the sequence where they have to work through other people for their prosperity. The more they can charm people, the more they can please people, the more they will get from people. In the highest level, 6 is supposed to be a number of service, where they are giving without the idea of receiving. They're just giving. They're serving. They're sacrificing their own personal beliefs, their own identity to hold together and to serve a collective, a community, a family. So in a very real world example, this is the housewife who's just taking care of the children, keeping the house beautiful, multiplying the husband's money. This is the classic traditional 6 energy. She's not doing this so her husband will pay her. She's just doing this because she's doing a service. And what happens as a result? Husband buys her nice gifts. He wants to get her the best house. He wants to get her the best clothes. He wants to go take her out on food. He wants to go buy her jewelry. He is giving her all these things as energetic reciprocity. So this is a secret for number 6, which is also applicable to 14. But 14, that 6 energy makes their communication very attractive. Their words are very attractive and pull people in. So they're very good at branding, because 5 is a really good marketing number. And 6 is a number that pulls the people to their marketing. It makes their marketing very, very effective. Again, look at Trump, one of the best marketers in the world. Love him or hate him, he has had a tremendous success in marketing. For better or for worse, however you want to look at it, he's made a lot of money. Now, the outer emotional aura is a 66. That means their emotional signature is extremely charismatic. We have as 2 6s being unleashed by a 3. 3 is just raw expression. It's a raw release. It's not quite organized. It's just raw release. So at the emotional level, this means that this person's energy will fill up a room. What's it filling it up with? Double 6s. Extremely charming, extremely attractive energy. This is a number that can easily extract things from people through their communication, through their marketing. So they also have to be very, very careful, because they can also be easily taken advantage of. This is the shadow side, because of 51 and 66. 6 plus 6 is a 12, 3. And you have 51. 51 is a number of assassination. Practically speaking, it's also a number of being canceled. It's a number of loss. And when you have it also with the 12, 3, which is a number of the victim, the martyr, the hanged man, this is somebody who can be taken advantage of. Usually what will happen is when they try to force themselves, because 51 is also a number of a bully. So if they try to bully their way through and try to use their speech in a way that is taking advantage of other people, they themselves may do that. They also may be taken advantage of themselves, because their energy is that in such a way where it will attract people who may want to take advantage of them. So you have to be very, very careful of this. 14 is designed to use their communication to nurture something, to grow it. So 14 is one of the top numbers you'll see with self-made billionaires, self-made millionaires. These people make for excellent entrepreneurs. Now on the inside, their path of maturation is the 54-9. This means coming back to this idea of rhythmic communication, timing in their speech, but also in their actions. This is about using exchange, structuring exchange to get things done. So in imbalance, what happens in 14 is, we mentioned before, they're about calculated risks. 14-5 will take uncalculated risk, where they're not doing their due diligence first. This is important. Doing your homework, doing your research, looking at the different angles before you just immediately jump in, because 5 is a very spontaneous number. It likes to go in the unknown. It likes to take risks. It likes speculative investments, gambling, trading. And 1 is very, very quick to initiate. So what happens is you have a number that may bully ahead real quick, but then suffer some losses, especially in economy. So 14 is associated with an imbalance, a number that can create up and down economy. The secret is, by doing their due diligence first, by doing their homework and not rushing it, they can build success. So 54 is about getting things done with instinctual actions off of the back of logic, of reason, of due diligence, of homework, of taking a pause. Because 4 is a number of pause. 1 is go ahead. 4 is let me pull back and pause real quick and look at everything. So when this number finds that nice healthy balance, it will have success. And this is one of the reasons why 14 is called the Temperance card. Now, I never really connected. I think all the tarot cards are connected to the compound numbers. I've never really resonated too much with the Temperance card and 14. For me, they're not. They have some similarities, which I'll mention, but overall, it's not one that really resonates deeply with me. But Temperance is what? The balance of 2 opposing forces. We do have 1 and 4, which is 4 is the shadow number of 1. And then you have 6 and 9, which is the inner and outer aura of the 14. So outer aura 6, inner aura 1. 6 and 9, 6 is the lower spiral, spiraling down to matter. 9 is a spiral up. You have 1 and 4, which are shadow, just like 2 and 7 are shadows of each other. So you have a nice balance of polarity here. You have this balance of being attached, overly attached, charismatic, and initiating. Then you have this energy in the back end of doing your due diligence and having instinctual action. Also about discriminating, because 9 is a number of discrimination. You need to be able to discriminate your 5, which is all this communication in your head through logic and reason. So this, in a nutshell, is 14. The last thing I'll say with using the advanced mathematics, the inner emotional, what really pushes this one emotionally is the 69, 15, 6. So 14, 5, and I have seen this, is quite a promiscuous number. People with 14, 5 can be very, very quick to initiate sexual exchange because 5 is exchange. That includes sexual exchange. 5 is like the hookup number because 5 is exchange of information where it's not too deep. It's not in this. We're not in the 6 yet. We're not emotionally bonding ourselves, attachment. It's an exchange. It could be exchange through words, but it could also be exchange of sexual energy. And we have this inner of 69, which is both their emotional diamond and also their inner emotional. So it appears twice, which makes it very, very powerful, which comes to 15, 6. This 14 number is a very sexually charged energy. They're very driven for sexual exchange, very driven for that nice, healthy polarization between masculine and feminine. It's a beautiful number. They just have to be very, very aware of being overly promiscuous because they can suffer due to the folly of other people because of the way they're set up. The 12, 3, the 51, 6. They have to be careful who they're exchanging with. Because if they're exchanging with the wrong people, it may or may not cause them some problems, so they have to look into this. But we can say that 14 does, this is why their communication can be very, very sexy. Their marketing and their branding can be very, very sexy, charismatic. But 14 also likes a little bit of drama. So in a relationship, 14, 5, they like to have a little bit of drama. They want to have a little bit of that masculine, feminine polarity. They want to have their roles like this, but they also may just like to argue a little bit too. Once in a while, stir up a little drama, cause a little emotional rise. This is very healthy as long as it's done in balance. But know this: a 14 does like a little drama. Look at Trump. Trump is like a poster boy of 14. Trump likes a little drama. He likes to rabble rouse a little bit. He likes to stir up the pot. He likes to cause a little thing because what is Trump lives by this thing where like any publicity is good publicity, and Trump knows how to use marketing. Do drama to create marketing, to create drama that brings him attention. This is another gift of the 14. So very, very powerful number. And we'll quickly summarize. They're good at eloquent speech, good at timing, rhythm, tempo of their speech. They're excellent small talkers. They can really, really hold attention and train intention. They're always trying to make a deal. They work best when they're trying to be self-made millionaires, self-made billionaires. Doing your due diligence, not rushing things, doing your homework, thinking, using your logic, using your instincts based upon logic, based upon reason, based upon structure, habits, the right habits of let me go to work, let me do what I have to do every single day, putting in your efforts, getting things done, always aiming to get things done. These are all qualities that bring the 14 to a higher level, using their speech to their advantage, but knowing that they have to be careful of being overly manipulative. In terms of bad intentions, the intention for 14 is very important. The one is there. You have to have a very, very good intention. It's important. And if you have a nice, good intention, your information is going to have a lot of success. It will do so either way, but they do run a risk of trying to be assassinated. Has Trump had assassination attempts on him? He has. 51-6. Trump has also been able to suffer from the folly of other people. And not just Trump, but in general, they can be taken advantage of. Not that Trump hasn't surely given what he has received, but at the same time, this is a potential here. You have to be careful with that. When you're too much of a bully and too much forceful with the words with bad intentions, you may have some things come back to you. So 14 needs a little drama. They need to have a nice, healthy sex life. They need to be careful with their partners. And they have a very, very good charisma and charm. Use it for helping other people. Use it as a form of service. This will be very, very, very good for you. The last thing I'll say about 14-5 is this is a number, just like all the 4s, who will do very, very well, especially 14-5, to learn numerology and astrology, timing, when to do things, learning about imprints, how to imprint. This is very, very powerful for the 14 because through the right timing, they can have a lot of success. Okay, with that said, I will end the video here. If you have any questions, comments, or any other requests, make sure to leave a comment underneath this video. Give it a like if you found it useful. Make sure to share it if you think other people would find it useful as well. Make sure to check out my site, ammunra.com. That's AMMUNRA.com, where you can find links to my services and my publication, The Golden Sun, where I have all of my archives, blogs, podcasts, articles, all free education where you can continue your learning. Until next time, happy manifesting. God bless. Om.